Hey, hey. Hi, guys. Welcome back. All right. So let's go ahead and jump on into a little bit of fictional storytelling. Just know I'll be doing this each week from now all the way up until January. So once a week, I will go live stream, and I'm really going to try to start cinching this into no more than 30 minutes because I seem to keep having the same thing happen where I wind up doing an hour on one channel and like 45 on the other. And then I'm never staying to a timeline for you guys. And I don't want to say something and then not follow through properly. So I'm going to be much tighter after this with trying to keep it to no more than 30, 35 minutes at max. So when I shut down the chat, that will be it. So anyway, you guys, I thank you so much for being here. I so appreciate you guys. And I want to make sure that I give everybody like accurate information of when I'll be live, because I know I'm like 10 minutes later, 15 or something than I said I would be. So I apologize to any of you who've been waiting patiently for me. Okay, I do want to make one other quick announcement, and I'm probably going to have to make this announcement more thoroughly a few more times. There's a glitch that's been going on YouTube lately, and what is occurring is my live streams, which, as you guys know, I do tons and tons of live streams. I love to connect with you guys, hang out together. It's such a fun thing. I've always loved it. But what has been going on is the live streams no longer process. It takes sometimes 24 hours, sometimes a little longer. And what happens when that occurs is it means nothing's being recorded. So like a lovely, 5,500 of you watched a video that I posted 2 days ago. But unfortunately, because it took time to process, YouTube only counted less than a fifth of that. And what happens when that occurs is it hurts the channel because it appears that nobody's watching. And so with a glitch like that, what it's doing is it's damaging the channel to the point where now videos won't actually circulate. So it's pushing me to have to strategize and say, okay, how can I get around this? At least if this glitch is permanent, or if it's just a thing that's a problem right now, I can't say, but I have to work with it so I can continue to keep the channel going. So with that in mind, and this is true on both of my channels, you guys are going to notice I'm going to have to upload videos instead of streams, which means most of my content now is going to be in a video format, which means we won't have very many opportunities to be live together, at least while this problem persists, or until I find another avenue to work this around. And I've been up all night trying to figure this out. I cried a lot of it too, I'm not gonna lie. So anyway, I just want you guys to know, when you see this change is starting on my channel, please know it's not because I don't want to be in the live streams. I love it. It's because this is of necessity right now until I figure out how to work with the current, problems that I've got, so I can keep the channel going. So with that in mind, I just want you guys to know how important you are to me and how much I love being in the lives with you. We'll still be doing this live once a week, and I might still be able to get shorter little lives out. I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on. So it's just, I finally had that confirmation last night at about 2:30 in the morning. And so I was literally up till almost 5 a.m. this morning, just trying to troubleshoot and thinking all day about how to handle things. So that's my best compromise at the moment. But thank you so much. Love you guys. Thank you so much. And let's get into this, shall we? First and foremost, let me grab one for Maria. Maria, thank you, babe. And we shall get into this, and I'll keep you guys posted on stuff, but please just know my videos aren't going away. They'll just be in video form now. Maria, my dear, we have got a 3 of Cups. It is in the reverse. This could actually be somebody who's withdrawing from social settings for a little bit to reconnect with themselves. This could also be if someone was busy out there dating a lot of people, they're like, no more, can't do that anymore. I found the one. I'm going into Highlander mode. There can only be one. I could look at it in both contexts, but I will say the thing that I said first was the thing that I thought first, which is somebody is withdrawing from being so connected or so interwoven into other people's lives for at least a little period of time. This could be somebody who's like, yikes, I'm, like changing my soul group. That could be the case. Or it could just be somebody who needs to take a little bit more care with themselves. It's wonderful to engage with others, and that adds a lot of value to our life. But also sometimes we have to do some Well, it's like sometimes we got to go to sleep and just get our rest, so we can't hang out with friends. That's not us not loving our friends or not wanting to be with them, but it's like I got to take care of my sleepy time. So I would just say we have a character withdrawing a bit. It does look like a feminine withdrawing from a group of feminines, not to be rude, but just to do some self-care. That to me, that's how that comes across. But the other alternate, and I would say it's like a 52-48 split for me, is it could be that somebody is no longer dating other people because they know exactly who they would prefer to date. So we could have it looked at that way as well. All right, you guys, hang on just a second. Oh, thank you so much, everybody. So good to see you all. All right, here we are. Here we are. We have got Empress Energy. Hi, babe. Let me grab you one. We actually ended up with 3, all reverse. Magician, Queen of Cups, 7 of Swords, all in the reverse. First off, fantastic to see no lies. But it does feel like somebody says, I'm not vibing with this. I'm not feeling it. This isn't what I want to manifest. In fact, maybe it's been a little bit draining. And there it is. There's my truth. This could be somebody who's like, I don't want to lie to somebody or lead them on. We could have a masculine who's realizing that they've been dealing with a karmic and they're like, I am definitely not continuing to invest. This could be a masculine who's about to become single. That could impact our character if he's about to become single, or it could be our lead character saying, I think I'm actually realizing I don't want to deal with something and I don't want to lead this person on or take their time. It's weird because with a major arcana like that in the reverse, where it's the magician in the reverse for me can be somebody who's not telling themselves the truth, which is why I'm leaning a little more heavily toward it being possibly a masculine, Libra, Gemini, or Aquarius that was dealing with someone that was their karmic and they know it now. And they're like, wow, I really got roped in and wrapped around somebody's finger. I just think this feels positive. This feels like a moment of clarity for somebody. Like maybe they're done dealing with their karmic. And that could have implications for, you notice he's got all these plans. He could be honest with himself now and say, truth is, there's somebody else I would love to go toward, and that could be our lead character in this. It feels like there's a changing of, like, I'm not going to say loyalties, but a changing of whom is going to be connected to whom. I don't want to stay where I don't want to stay anymore, and that's becoming obvious. But it does feel more heavily like it's a divine masculine who's letting go of a karmic scenario. D. Rogers, hi, babe. Let me get to you. D. Rogers, here we go. Hi, everyone. D. Rogers, we have got the Knight of Pentacles. We have the slow-moving, forward, progressive energy. This is a character who is obviously like, set their sights on something, and even if it takes time, it's so well worth it. Now, somebody could also be like a granny driver, and I say that with love. I'm a granny driver. Okay, I drive the speed limit or a little bit less for the most part. That is me being, in an abundance of caution. I always think about my baby on board, which is Aries, and so I do think about that. I don't know why I'm getting somebody who's a cautious driver. That could be a good thing. But we also have somebody who's like, they're mindful about where they're going in life. If they need to pause here and there, it doesn't make them fret, because I don't almost feel like somebody's got this slow way of even communicating, because I'm picturing like a Tom Selleck character, easygoing. What I'm actually picturing is his character from Quigley Down Under. Loved that film, loved him in it. I'm picturing somebody who's like kind of slow, little patient, little cowboy-esque here. It feels like a divine masculine who takes their time. And if we get to know them slowly, it could be like either at first their slow pace is maddening, but then we see now there's something stable about this. This actually feels like something worth investigating to see who this character is, because they're not a procrastinator. They're consistently moving forward, but with stability. I don't know. I dig that character. There's something about them that I just really enjoy. Oh my God. Thank you so much. Tina's just passing time. Let me grab one for you. And thank you, Fave. Oh my God. Tina's just passing time, just gifted a membership. And Alicia Parsons, you just received it, babe. So that is so awesome. Thank you again, Tina. Here we go. Tina, let me grab you one, babe. We have the Ten of Cups. Beautiful energy. Even if there is some kind of spillage, although I'm picturing somebody who does like art where they have a piece of art or something where it's like marble, or, something where there's swirls. Maybe it's somebody swirling like cheesecake brownies or something, but a swirly look to things could particularly please them. I don't know if it's a clothing, like an article of clothing, or their marble countertop or something is like, oh, this is so beautiful. But there's something that is more colorful, more swirly. I feel like this is a very easygoing person, and maybe that's partly why they can have so much joy that comes into their life, because they are welcoming. This feels like somebody who's like, oh, the more the merrier. Oh, are more people coming over for dinner? Awesome. Oh, do they speak another language? Oh, cool. Can't wait to hear. I would love to hear their accent. It just feels like somebody who is so welcoming. And what they swirl into their life here seems to be the things that like add value to their life. I just feel like this is a character who has friends in all walks of life, who's super welcoming, who everybody wants to be around this person. And I feel like that's going to bring in an abundance of gifts. This feels not like one, particular like love story, but more like our character has a wonderful rapport with like a multitude of people or energies or entities in their world. And it's like all of them kind of come together and contribute to this character's overall happiness quota. And yet it's like everybody brings in a little dash of something extra and special and kind. It's really beautiful energy. But I feel like our character has an amazing reputation with a multitude of people. But I think they're about to start receiving a lot of like feel goods from those individuals whose hearts they've touched. Oh, that's beautiful. I really like that particular card. I don't always get the same interpretation on a card, even if it comes up a lot. There's lots of different ways to look at anything. Chalita in Chicago, you angel. It is my pleasure, babe. I hope you've been having the best ever birthday week. Your birthday's coming up too, huh? You're not quite there, but it's coming soon. Shreeza Ali, hi, baby. Let me grab you one right now, sweetheart. You guys are so amazing. We have an Ace of Wands. It is in the reverse. If anything, we may have a character going, I don't know that I like that color paint. I'm not sure that that pleases me after all. I don't know that that's the door I want to walk through. Even if at one point in time it was like, oh man, if only I could get that job. Oh, if only I could walk through that door. If only that one person and I could be, whatever, kissing, smooching, trying to romance. This feels like somebody who's saying, that is not even right for me. I've outgrown that. I've outgrown that passion. I feel like our lead character is aware, and this could be many things in their life that they're realizing, I matured out of. I don't really want that anymore. That's not my style anymore. And that could include what I find attractive, qualities that I once upon a time was like, oh man, that's so hot. I almost think this is possibly about a particular lover that just no longer is what our character is drawn in by. It's like, those aren't the qualities I seek anymore. It's not enough for somebody to be a great lover or kisser. I also really want somebody who has, great depth of conversation, or, it's more than just the time we spend in the sheets. So I kind of think that as a whole, something isn't appealing to a character anymore. Or like I said, we have changing tastes. We outgrow, once upon a time, our character wanted to have, a really brightly colored house, beautiful mustard colored walls with, russet colored door. And it's like, you know what? Actually, I'm going for a sleeker look now. This could be somebody changing their hairstyle, changing their makeup, changing their wardrobe, or changing, literally romantic partnerships. But it's because their taste has changed. And it's not a bad thing. It's just, that's not what draws me anymore. I kind of love when characters are going off of like, what does my heart really crave? What am I really drawn to? If that's their reason for making a change, it's nice because it's kind of more authentic, right? It's not like, oh, I'm sad and that's why I'm not going to, choose this anymore. No, this is a character who's like, oh, no, it's all about my heart. It's all about what I really feel connected to, what really seems to work for me. Thank you guys so much. Sierra, let me get to you here in just a second, babe. Hang on, I got to backtrack. The chat jumps really, really fast. Okay, hang on. The chat jumped way too far and I have to, oh my goodness, can I see this? Oh my God, thank you so much, Yale. Yippee, Yale. So many names I know you by. Yale just gifted 20 more memberships. Thank you so much, babe. Hang on just a second. Yale, let me get to you, sweetheart. And then just a second, because I have to. I'm so worried right now that, just so you guys know, on my side of things, when the chat moves really swiftly, it won't let me backtrack. If I have just missed somebody who just gifted me something, please do let me know, because like right now I can't even see that Yale gifted. I had to go up and click on something, so I'm sure I'm not going to be able to read off every person who just became a member courtesy of Yale, because I can't even go back far enough. So please, if you gifted me something and I didn't get to you, please, please, please tell me so that I can not miss you, okay? Because I want a chance to say thank you to you. Okay, so hang on just a second. I am trying very hard to not make mistakes here. Sierra, I'll get to you in just a second. Also, I'm going to go to Sierra and then I'll get to Yale right after Sierra, okay? Let me just keep going down here. I want to make sure that it's the only problem when I do the lives is that the chat moves faster than I do. And so I can make mistakes without meaning to. Thank you guys so much for being so patient with me as I try to stay on top of things. I never mean to fail you guys. Almost there, almost there, almost there. Okay. Oh. Hang on, guys. I swear, I'm almost there. I just have to make sure I didn't foul up too badly. Okay, and I'm down here. Okay, I think I'm in a good space. Here we go. The Balula, let me add you in here also. Hang on just a second. Okay. All right, so Sierra, Yale, the Balula, and then I'll just keep going into the chat. I just had to get things moved properly. Spiritual Serenity, thank you so much, babe. I'm adding you right afterwards, okay? Okay, there we go. So here we go. First off, Sierra, and then Yale. I will get to you next, or Yippee. But Sierra, for you, my dear, we have a Page of Swords. That Page of Swords is the energy of somebody who's learned how to listen, obviously. And this is normally where somebody is either spying or they're collecting information. But we have a feminine who's listening closely to what the universe has to say. Now, for my own nosiness, forgive me, but I have to pull one more card because I can't tell what she's listening for. But she is our character who is she's listening to what the universe is like whispering about something that might be missing in her world. If there has been something that has felt like nostalgic and she didn't even know that was making her lonesome. Like sometimes we don't know it, but we need to go spend time with our family. Sometimes we don't realize that we've been feeling ungrounded because, we need to touch base with somebody who knows us from a long, long time ago. Sometimes we need to bake that batch of cookies. It reminds us of our grandma. And it's like, oh my God, I didn't know this is what I needed. This is what nourished me. I just needed to sit in something beautiful. Or maybe we needed more time, with ourselves by contrast. Sometimes we need to be around other people. Sometimes we need to be by ourselves. But this is a character who's listening closely. And it's kind of like, what is my subconscious trying to tell me? And it says, there is something that I haven't been nurturing. There is something I'm hungry for. This could be literally somebody who wants to check in with, their overall, like, hey, have I been, whatever, satisfying my body's needs, my need for sleep? Am I feeling cranky or feeling overwhelmed because I didn't get enough rest? Or this could be, am I missing like some kind of community or something? It just says, it's such a great message for our character to do that little baby self-check and be like, what is it that I maybe need to feed me right now? And that's kind of what the gentle encouragement is, where the universe is whispering like, hey, you matter too, sweetheart. Just make sure you check in once in a while and see what is it that you might need right now. Kind of really nice to see that. Thank you so much, Black Butterfly. You'll be after Spiritual Serenity. All right, Yale, yippee. You are next, babe. 1918. Here we go. Yale, let's get to you. And thank you so many times over. Oh my God, he's so generous. We have got the Moon, we have the Death card, and we have the Page of Swords in the reverse. Moon is something that's been hidden. Big old transformation coming up. And this is not something at all that a character like asked for or demanded. This is just like a gift from the universe. big transformational energy. I think this is such a beautiful card. I feel like either a character is like so humble that they never thought to ask for something, but it's a little bit like, wish I may, wish I might have this wish I wish tonight kind of energy. It almost feels like something that has been, deep down within a character, like maybe a secret little thing that they've always hoped to have opportunity. Like, okay, I'll use an example. Once upon a time, I was like, I had always wanted to hear my favorite piece of opera, Vistiarte, from La Tosca. And I got really lucky, and it was sheer chance. But I ended up, this many years ago, but I took a trip, and there was a little tiny celebration going on in the town that I was staying in. And they had a couple of local opera singers, and that was one of the songs that was sung, and it was spectacular. And I will always feel like that was just a gift to the universe for me. Like it was and it was at night and it was outside, and it was just, it could have been more powerful. Sometimes it's sweet little things, but sometimes that also little things can change a course of our life. But it's like, I don't know if it's a big gift or a tiny gift that seems to be coming in for a character, but it could have major impact in their life. And they never would have even dreamed that a wish that they had would possibly not only come true, but could possibly like blossom other things into their life. And I kind of feel like it's because this character has been so humble that they didn't like sit there and demand it, or, tell the universe, when am I getting this? Instead, it's like, it's been a long held, like almost an essence of who they are, a piece of who they are that is always kind of maybe like wished for this path to open up for them, but they didn't say it directly. And yet it seems like it's coming in. So something very special, something that could be quite transformative is coming in for our character, but it just feels so sweet. And so, I don't know, just like I said, like a gift from the universe somehow. God, thank you guys so much. You guys are so unbelievably generous and kind. Thank you from the bottom of my heart, everybody. This is so amazing. Just a second. Let me add in Brele. Thank you so much, Brele. Ali A, I want to get a chance to say thank you to you as well. Hang on. Brele and Ali. Okay. Next up, and I'm sorry that I know I'm botching your name. Is it the Belula? Did I say that right? The Belula? So forgive me if I said it wrong. It feels really nice saying it on my lips. So forgive me if I am still saying it wrong. We have the Tower in the reverse. We have the Three of Swords upright. Whew. Who is this that's going through an upheaval? Somebody just had their coming to Jesus moment. Their ego is collapsing, and they are realizing that they maybe said a few things that they really wish they hadn't. Maybe this was somebody who was pretty puffed up. I don't know who this is, but in this storyline, it's maybe a much needed breakthrough. We have lightning in both of these cards. So it is like, oh my God, I feel like somebody is recognizing that they were the cause of some upheaval, and they either wouldn't accept it before, or they strutted around and acted however they wanted, and now it's costing them in consequence. And it's like, oh, I did that. That's me. I did that. It's not always a bad thing for somebody to have to face consequences, though, right? It's the only way that they change and then say, I'm not going to do that again. But it definitely feels like somebody's attitude made them lose a really great relationship, or certainly something that they are really sad about at this point, but it's because of their own mistakes that they made. We'll call them mistakes, but it looks like it was ego based. It sucks, but on the other hand, maybe it'll help them grow. So tough moment for them, but perhaps it's the best thing that could happen. Spiritual Serenity, darling, you are up next. Excuse me. We have a Ten of Swords. It is in the reverse. That Ten of Swords energy is definitely somebody that is over like a really painful ending, or this could be somebody having like a laser therapy to remove something. And it doesn't have to be like a tattoo or something, of someone's name. It could be like I'm removing, maybe it's hair, or maybe it's, a mole, or maybe it's something like that. But I think it's more symbolic. It's like what I'm doing is I'm removing, instead of tattooing it on and saying, this is my mark where I say, I'll never do this again. This is somebody removing that and saying, actually, I'm over the like, this is over and this is the end and this is how it is forever. I'm not saying somebody's going back on their word. I'm saying that they don't have to keep a boundary high anymore. They don't have to. I mean, somebody could actually be having like a tattoo removed where it's like, oh, I put that on to remind me, like, I will not be crushed by something. But now some time has passed and it's like, I don't need a tattoo to remind me. I'm already beyond this. I have like evolved so far beyond it. It feels like somebody is literally removing the painful ending, if that makes sense. And whatever that metaphorical thing was for them that represented, this is the day that I reclaimed myself and I, did this and it was over. But now a character is like, I don't have to prove it to anybody. I know inside of me that I'm actually well beyond that. So it kind of feels like, let's say somebody moved out of a town after the end of a breakup or something, and they stayed away for 5 years. And now they're like, I actually loved living in that town. I don't care if I bump into an ex. I'm so over them. I don't need to have a fresh start and move someplace else to reclaim my life. I can walk anywhere I want, into any building that I want, into any restaurant that I want. It doesn't matter if there's old memories there. I'm beyond those old memories. Like, that's how it feels. Like, I would say this is an even stronger way to reclaim one's like turf again, is the best way I would say that. It's like, I actually feel good. I'm not worried. I feel good. I really like that for a character. I love it anytime a character seems to be really empowered and back to themselves. Black Butterfly 25. Thank you, babe. Let me grab you one right now, honey. Black Butterfly 25, we have a 6 of Cups. There have been some tears shed. There have been some arguments, but you know what? Soulmates are still soulmates. We have an unfinished storyline here. And this could be with a soul group. This could be like, oh man, my family drives me bananas. And then it's like, but oh man, I love those monsters. So our families are the people that drive us crazy. And at the same time, it's like, oh God, they're goblins and I adore them. And I'm still going to be hanging out with them. Now, this could also be about a more specific love story where there have been a lot of stops and starts. But we keep coming back to these two hearts. Two angels who've been lifted from above. And after all the things that we've been through, it all comes down to me and you. I guess we're meant to be forever you and me after all. Sorry. Is that Cher and Peter Cetera? This feels like, yes, there have been tears and there have been cracked pottery and there have been mistakes, but we still have two people that want to be together, or a group that still knows this is still an important group for me to run with. So it's not over. I actually still want this. Kind of think that that's a very realistic and relatable message. Sometimes we go, oh man, we just got to stop a cycle. And other times we go, but those are really important souls that I connect to. So I don't want it to stop. I just want to keep working through things. It doesn't look like it's perfect, but it sure looks like there's a really profound bond there. Brele, here we go, sweetheart. Thank you so much for being here. Brele, we have got a 9 of Pentacles and a 2 of Swords came out along with it. Excuse me. This 9 of Pentacles is somebody who's reaching for the stars. They are having the breakthrough moment. And I almost think that this is somebody who's, I don't know if they're about to have a real boost in like their career or in some aspect of their life, but as they are doing better, they're feeling better, they're feeling more empowered. We can see them like maybe being able to cut something else out of their life. Like let's say somebody's going to start to have like their side hustle is really taking off, which means their original like 9 to 5, they might be able to cut back on those hours. They might be able to start saying no to something they don't really enjoy because they're able to say yes to something that they've really been, building and evolving into. It does feel like we're shifting our attention to something that's much more satisfying for a character, much more enjoyable, much more even lucrative, perhaps. But it looks like a character is going to start to see like where they can maybe say no, thank you, or cut some ties with other things as they are feeling more empowered. And I don't think it's like, oh, wow, I'm trading up, don't need you fools anymore. Like, whatever, I'm batting with the A team now. I don't see it that way at all. I just see it as somebody's life is improving. Their confidence is improving. Some things are going better. And that's allowing them to say, I actually to protect my peace. I actually want to be able to say no thank you to certain things. Maybe I am cutting some ties with, individuals that would have pulled my energy down, but I'm really pleased to be able to move forward. So very nice energy, not sassy or rude, just a character who seems like they're going to start to enjoy some progress in their life, and that's going to allow them to work with the progresses instead of stay exactly where they were. Allie, thank you, sweetheart. Let me get you one right now, babe. We've got a 10 of Wands, and this 10 of Wands is somebody who has been lugging that big old, like cement ball or giant, boulder up a hill. A 10 is always a number of completion. This is where somebody is maybe ready to look back and say, hey, what have I been lugging around? Was that even mine to carry? Because this seems like fear, guilt, shame, remorse, worrying about somebody else all the time to our detriment. There are some things that aren't even possible. We can't fix other people's, lack of growth because they have to do the growing themselves. We can't get somebody to stop an addiction because they have to choose that for themselves. But we care so, so, so much. And to the point sometimes where we care more about, are they sleeping? Are they eating? Are they happy? Are they going to get their act together? We care more about that than, hey, am I sleeping? Am I eating? Am I taking care of me? Also, sometimes we have other people put their guilt on us. And this message is just one where I think a character is seeing that and saying, let me differentiate between what is actually mine to carry and what is ridiculous for me to carry because I cannot make an impact on that. As good a heart as I may have, as much as I care, as much as I, want to be of great assistance to others, there's a limit to what I can do because not everything is mine to impact. And I just think that this is a huge relief for a character to finally say, maybe somebody else has to sort out their stuff before they can trudge up the hill and meet me at the top of this mountain. But I'm okay with that. I don't have to feel bad that I'm not, trying to piggyback them or lug them up with me. It's not somebody abandoning, their responsibilities. It's somebody who was taking responsibilities on that maybe were never theirs. So I just see a big sense of relief on that message, just like, okay, so it's not always me that's having to do this, or that's I don't exist purely to make sure that everybody else gets everything that they want in life. it's kind of like a relief. You guys, thank you so, so much. Wendy E, did I not get to you last time? I thought I pulled you one in the other video. Did I not? Oh, babe, I'm so sorry if I failed you. Oh my God, let me get to you right now. I said your name and then maybe I got pulled off in a different direction. I'm so sorry if I didn't get to you, honey. We have a 4 of Cups because I know I said your name. Please forgive me. Hang on, we got to get one more because that's my regret right there, right? The 4 of Cups can be a regret. It can be a mistake. It can be an illusion, though, as well. And then we have a Page of Cups. That Page of Cups is the energy of, well, in this case, we possibly have a divine masculine who would like to say sorry to somebody. It appears that we have one person, possibly a water sign, does not have to be, but they are the ones, like, doesn't matter how much time passes, what they keep carrying around in the back of their mind is, I need to say sorry. I need to say sorry. I need to say sorry. So it's like, it doesn't matter how many, days pass, how many moon cycles pass, how much ebb and flow of the waves come in and out. The thought is perpetually in the back of their mind. And I almost think somebody like blushes or flushes. They maybe still haven't said that they're sorry, but it's like, I can picture somebody who has like that, when you can see somebody's like flush go all the way up their neck and across their face. I could picture this person like having that telltale sign. Like, I don't know what their hang up is in being able to say sorry. But they think about it all the time. And this could be somebody at a distance. This could be somebody who's just so embarrassed that they're having a hard time saying sorry. Sometimes when we feel something so much, it's also the one thing we can't seem to do. So I don't know. I think that they'll come around to that because our pages are our little communicators. So perhaps an apology is coming fairly swiftly. But still, it's coming in at some point. It's just taking some time. The Belulu, I got to you, sweetheart. I don't know. Were you here? I got to you some time ago, babe. The Belulu, you were right after Yale. Did you leave the chat and come back? Hang on, I'm just reading. I see Simply Rita was trying to help you out. It looks like I was saying it's yours right now. And then you responded with, if it is, I'll be amazed. I don't know. But yeah, if you guys are gonna pop in and try to get a storytelling, you do want to make sure that you're in the live the whole time, so you know when that happens. Okay. um, T baby, thank you so much. Let me get to you right now, sweetheart. Yeah, Simply Rita, you're spot on. Yeah, the Balulu, I read other names because I do each person's. I say their name and then I get to them. So anyway, that's how that goes. T baby, thank you so much, sweetheart. And let me get to you right now, babe. T baby, here we go. Thank you for your patience with me, T baby. All right. We have the Three of Swords, and it's in the reverse. I'm going to get you one more. I love this one, by the way. It's one of these where she's using even the power of what she went through and becoming more determined to like fuse the little shattered pieces together to reshape her heart. It's really beautiful. Really beautiful. We have a Ten of Cups upright. Great happiness on the horizon. We see her approaching kind of like, one of those pillars that somebody stands on, like when they get the Olympic gold or something. But we have this mermaid. This is somebody very special. I don't know if she's finally getting some profound healing from something that happened to her, like her inner child, but we see her changing the pattern of her life. We see, I mean, this could be a mother and child. Maybe this is somebody who, is going to really enjoy being a parent, but I'm looking at it more like she is walking along with her own inner child saying, oh my God, I just healed something that was so deep that maybe had been fractured inside of me many, many years ago. And somehow, some way I listened to my guides and I used my own intellect and I used my personal power. And I just really I gravitated toward like healing myself. And for the first time ever, I'm super happy. And I'm walking up to this doorway that I see other people have gone through before that leads to the rainbow and the sunshine and great happiness. And I finally get to participate in that. I really think that this is a divine feminine whose life is so much more beautiful. She's just like basking in joy now. She's basking in like a whole different layer of happiness that previously I think she was on a really long journey of healing. So beautiful energy for this character, but I would say profound message on this one. When we get to a 10 of cups, it means we're also ready to have like really satisfying relationships with others because we know, damn, we're worthy. We deserve to have great happiness. We deserve to have a really loving partnership. So just lovely. I could see everything is changing for our character. Yeah, you guys are so lovely. So love. I'll get to you in just a minute, babe. Hi, everybody. Aw, Mrs. Bobby Cassie, hang on just a second. Let me put Soul Love, Bobby Cassie. I'll get to you right after Soul Love, okay, sweetie? Hang on just a second. Starla Ray, thank you, Angel. Hang on just a second, Starla. I'm adding you in. Cataclysmic Awakening, you Angel. Thank you so much. Cataclysmic Awakening, I'm adding you in just a second. You sweetheart. Thank you, love. Just a second. I want to make sure that I don't miss everybody. Okay, I think we're right where we need to be. Annie S. and Simply Rita. And just a second. Annie S. Simply Rita, I'm going to grab you one right now, babe. And then I'll get to Soul Love, Mrs. Bobby Cassie, Starla Ray, Cataclysmic Awakening, Annie S., and that will round me out. So, guys, I'm going to go ahead and shut down the chat now so that I can make sure that I don't go overboard. Stephanie D, we'll still get to you, babe. And Witman Clan, I'll get to you also before tonight is out, okay? Stephanie D. and Witman Clan. All right, you guys, what I'm going to do, just so you guys know, I am going to have to go ahead and close down the chat. And in order to do that, what might happen for some of you, because I've heard one report of this, if I close down the chat, what I have to do is I have to set the chat for like a 10 or 16 year, timeline. So basically beyond the length of the time that my channel has existed. And that way nobody else can add in anything into the chat. And I have to do that or I'll never be able to put a stop to it. And so that's the only way I can close down the chat. But when I do that, it could make it wobbly for a moment, or some of you could even think that the video just stopped. It doesn't. You might have to bounce out and come right back in, okay? But before I close this out, let me just mention these are the names I'm going to get to still, okay? Simply Rita, Soul Love, Mrs. Bobby Cassie, Starla Ray, Cataclysmic Awakening, Annie S., Stephanie D., and Witman Clan. So I'm not going to accept any more after this, okay, guys? Just so I can make sure that I get everybody, wrapped up, okay? So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and just make the note. This chat is now closed. And then I'm going to go ahead and actually close it. So you guys are so awesome. Let me go ahead and now this is where, as I change this, you guys might have to bounce out and come back in, okay? Just know that I'm not really gone. You just might have to jump out of the chat and come back. Okay, here we go. All right, here we go. All right, and I'm just going to add this in one last time. It's closed now. Okay, there we go. All right, now, Simply Rita. So everybody, if you just popped in, just know the chat is now officially closed because I do this just for about 30 minutes. We've already been in here for 42 minutes, and I still have a little list of people to get to, and so I have to close it at some point. So I'm sorry if I missed you. Just know we are doing this every week, guys. So if I missed you, please don't fret. You get another chance again next week on both channels. All right, Simply Rita, here we go, honey. Let me grab you one. We have got the Page of Cups. Page of Cups is the energy of love. It's the energy of sometimes an apology as well. But this one feels much more like a love story to me than an apology. It almost is a message, though, from like the universe to say, like, I want to say, hang on, Sloopy, hang on. It says, like, there is something that is elevating and rising in our character's life. There's something soft and sweet coming in. It's like, sometimes we can get a little bit disappointed, or we feel like, nah, that'll never happen for me. And this Page of Cups says, oh, but it will, as surely as springtime comes back and everything blossoms again. If our character has had a time period of their life where, things they didn't see much change, they didn't see much blossoming, it says, yes, but it does come back. It is perennial, love is all around, but we certainly do have an ebb and a flow, and there are different seasons in our life. But this is a new love story. Oh God, that song by Prairie Oyster. It's called, I think it's called "Ooh, Such a Lonely One." In it, the line is, and like the moon turns the tide, a new love will dry your eyes. It's a beautiful song. And it's a really nice, like, cha-cha. So anyway, that comes to mind right now. All right, next up, Soul Love. Here we go, babe. Thanks so much for being patient with me, Soul Love. Appreciate you so much. Soul Love, we have a Knight of Cups. Speaking of love, somebody's got a good date coming up. This is, the action taking. This is somebody who wants to express their emotions. This could be a divine masculine wanting to express their emotions, or a feminine, or it's two people sharing the same vibe. This says we have a really great date, and this is still coming in. Our nights are action takers. So we could say, well, I had a great date once upon a time. And it's like, no, we're not talking about that one. We're talking about the next one coming in. I feel like it's going to revive all kinds of like flutters in the tummy and make somebody feel very much like, oh my God, this feels like a scene from a movie. They could go out, they could be dressed very nice. This could also be like something that occurs at, you go to an event, maybe this is whatever, business Christmas party or something. And without expecting something to turn into romance, it just does. It's beautiful energy, and it is possibly quite unexpected. But we certainly see characters like, I'm going to say like oozing into each other. And this could just be a very nice, unexpected twist on the horizon. I would just say if we're going to events and parties, dress our best. Dress our best. Spritz that little cologne, that perfume, and walk in like anything could happen. Because in this storyline, that's exactly what it's saying is you don't know what kind of love story is right up ahead around the corner, but there is something very beautiful on the horizon for this character. And I do feel like it's a romance. Will it become the one and only? Who knows? But at least the act of like being in a romance is what's on the horizon, which is always nice. All right, Mrs. Bobby Cassie, thank you so much for being here, babe. So good to see you. Here we are. Do, don't I? Bobby Sissy, please forgive me. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. We have got the Nine of Wands and we have the Moon. Nine of Wands is the energy, excuse me, the energy of somebody who's been doing I feel like they're very deep. This is somebody who's very deeply spiritual. This is somebody who's healed themselves at a deep level. They could be someone who has like, this is like Australian Aboriginal connection to like the ancestors. We see Australia right here with the kangaroo race instead of like calling it the rat race. But we have this amazing like sacred cave here with all these beautiful didgeridoos. I love didge music. It's one of the most soothing vibrational sounds ever. But I'm just wondering if this is a character who, first off, could have a beautiful voice. They may have a resonance. I could picture this person who sings really beautifully. Because right now I'm hearing like Aretha, or just like a music where it's like, oh my God, it feels like you have been touched by, the hand of the divine, just to be able to hear, people that just have amazing voices like that. And it completely touches your soul. And you're like, okay, that literally is me witnessing like, angels in action singing through this person. I feel like there's some kind of like vibrato or some pitch or some tone that is like really spiritual. I mean, maybe this character listens to music that's very spiritual, but they are a very deeply spiritual individual. And it's wild because they're actually using, I'm going to say like their healing energy to either help to heal the earth, but they're also sending out, even here, you see the river that's winding down from the mountain. I'm actually picturing more like a tuning fork. Everything here is about vibration. I have no idea why. Again, I keep thinking that somebody like either they send out good thoughts or they send out a vibrational energy or they sing, and that is reaching the ears of their soulmate. We see these two wolves howling on either side of the chasm. I don't know if our character knows this, but their energy, which is healing themselves, is also healing somebody else, a divine like alpha mate that is somewhere else, who is hearing their song, who is hearing their energy, who is sensing their vibration. And I think it is healing both of them, healing a rift between them. And I do think that there are two people that are going to wind up together. It may be, not for a couple more moon cycles, but there is something about the vibration that is like crossing distance, time, and space, and it's impacting two characters. Oh, I love this one. Anytime that I hear like spiritual music though, and especially like if you put Aretha's voice to it or something, it's like it can make you cry. That was just such a lovely message for me to get to kind of like tap into in my brain and in what I hear playing in my head. All right, next up, Starla Ray. Here we go. Starla Ray, thank you, Angel. We've got a high priestess along with the hanged man. So two major arcana also. Piscean energy. By the way, I was only looking for one card, but I shuffled enough to get two, and my hands just did it on their own accord. So we got two. But we also have, I always look at this more as a combo of Virgo, Pisces, and Cancer. So we're rocking a lot of energy in the emotional realm or the unseen realm. And we have this high priestess, you know, like reaching out, calling out to somebody, but they still seem to be waiting. Maybe she is simply reaching out saying, when you're ready, when you're ready, I'm not going to bite. You know, there's nothing to be scared of. It does feel like we have a procrastinator here. And then we have this high priestess who's like, I understand that. All I can do is send out nice vibes, say, you don't got to be scared. There's nothing to be scared of. I don't know. Somebody could have like a long ponytail, or they could braid their hair. That could be her. That could be him. Doesn't matter what genders, period. But we definitely have like something about this has been going on for quite a while. The length of the braid. Anytime I see length of hair, I always think it's been going on for a while. And I just kind of think that this is an unnecessary delay, but that's what she's trying to say. This is an unnecessary delay. There's no obstacle or blockage on my part here. So she's just making kind of like a welcome, like energetically saying the door is open, babes. So if you want to pop back through it at some point, you can. Just sending that out to you. This could be somebody actually sending a text message to someone, or, you know, just letting somebody know the door is open if you ever want to reconcile. This could be, you know, between whatever, friends, siblings, mother and child, you know, it doesn't matter. But my impression was it was more like energy between potential romantic partners. But this is just her saying, I'm just sending out the fact that the door is open. And if you walk through it, you're not going to get me yelling at you for it. You know, that's not how I operate. She's very high vibrational, and I think she senses somebody's fear, and she's not going to be there to scare anybody. Next up, Cataclysmic Awakening. Thank you a million times over, babe. Thank you so much. And I think you gifted somebody a membership as well, and I'm sorry I didn't get a chance to read that out loud. I'm not sure who that was for, but thank you on their behalf. Thank you so much, sweetheart. That was really kind of you. We have the World card upright, and we have the Page of Pentacles sideways. World card is... she got a whole bunch of hands here. She's standing on top of the world. 2026 could be a big year for this character. We do have strong Capricorn energy. We have, if this is about a year, there's a whole bunch of things coming in. She's got 4 sets of hands here. So I would just say, holy smokes, this could be her massive glow up. There could be a lot of people. She could be asked to wear a lot of different hats. If you look closely, we have like all of these lines crisscrossing everywhere. It's like every ley line you can imagine. She may feel on one hand like I'm pulled in so many directions, but then it almost seems like each one is coming from a particular point of light if you look closely down there. So I'm going to say she may have tons of things that she has to do, but they all come back to like one major thing in her life. So I'm picturing somebody has like 4 massive things that happen in the next year. She may already be aware of that. She could be stepping into the limelight a little bit or a lot bit. This could be somebody who has to travel like 4 times a year next year. But here's the other thing. And by the way, she is undressed in both of these cards. So I'm thinking that this is a year of real authenticity, like a year where she doesn't doubt who she is, doesn't worry. And I think that her authentic self is like exactly why she's going to do so well. But we have a message from somebody in the past, right? This bird is coming in with a message. It's a message that should get to her in Year of the Snake, but I think it's going to come in the next year because this card was sideways. Somebody who needed to say something to her, open dialogue, they're coming in late. Maybe not until another 6 months into 2026. The thing is, I think that message will come in just when it's supposed to. It could have to do with a romantic partner. Look, her year is going to be so busy. Whenever this message does come in, I actually think it's probably going to be exactly the way it needed to lay out. Sometimes we want everything to happen fast, but then it turns out we have so many other things to attend to. It's going to be a blessing in disguise that it took longer for that message to come in. All right. And next up, Annie S. Here we go, hon. And I'm almost getting to you, Stephanie D. and Witman Clan. Hang in there just a minute. Annie S., we have a King of Wands. King of Wands is First off, somebody who is ready to like totally show how they feel. This is someone who could be very comfortable in their physique. This is somebody, I don't know, I immediately like this character because it's just like, what have I got to be? He's not showy off, nor is he uncomfortable. He's just very aware of who he is, as kings typically are. But it's also somebody who's unafraid to like show their emotions, unafraid to cry, unafraid. Oh goodness. Annie S., I'm so sorry, sweetheart. During your card pull here, things got all wiggy. And so I'm going to timestamp it for you and just restart. Right now, I'm timestamping it at a 55:33. Um, what I was trying to say, sweetheart, Annie S., is that we got one of my favorite King of Wands energies. So we may have a Leo, Sag, or Aries. It's very confident, that has a lot of love to offer, and they just seem to be presenting themselves like totally transparently. Here I am. Yes, it's me. Here I am. Can't you see? Anyway, sorry. I think that's a Lyle Lovett song that's in my head right now. This just feels really lovely because he's warm-hearted. He's unabashed, unafraid to show how he really feels. And it just kind of seems like if other people are opinionated, he doesn't care. He goes with what he believes is true, what he believes his heart has to say. And I think this is such an admirable person. A King of Wands upright is not cocky at all. They're not full of themselves. If a bunch of people are staring at him, he's fine with that. He doesn't worry who follows him or not because he's a true leader. And I just feel like if this is who is stepping into our character's world, I almost think this is going to be like, I really appreciate the way that person does things. Sometimes we can first think, oh, that person is imperious. But then we go, no, I actually really like the way they do things. I like the fact that I can tell they're showing me the real them. I can tell they don't need other people's approval. They're not a yes man. They're not somebody who panders. They actually are the real deal. And I just kind of think it's going to be very illuminated. So somebody in our character's life could develop a real deep appreciation for this individual and be like, I really like them. I like how they do things. I like their heart. All right. Thank you again, Annie S. Sorry about that interruption with the internet. Stephanie D. coming in at 57:32. All right, Stephanie D. Here we go, love. What do we have? A high priestess. High priestess energy is, for me anyway, it's Virgo, Cancer, and Pisces kind of rolled into one. She is, because a high priestess always senses things that haven't happened yet. But in particular, we do have to remember that the high priestess she has an undercurrent. And particularly on this card, it reminds us of that because she's sitting here in broad daylight, right? But what is she really sitting upon? She is, her whole throne, her whole world is floating on the moon and out here in the nebula and the galaxy. So she has a total hidden life. If this is our lead character, she is so much more passionate. She has so much more going on under the surface than what she shows to other people. And I feel as if, and that's always true, she's a very sensual character who most of the times people don't know how sensual she is because she keeps it under wraps. This is a character who's like, I think going to be revealing all of that to the right person. She already senses. This is somebody who's probably noticed, like, that person over there on my left, they're going to be my next lover. Nope. All I saw was a flicker of their eyes, but I already know. I know because I always know. She already has a very, very good premonition of what's going on, of what will be going on. Sometimes the things that haven't yet occurred, but the things that are coming into her world. And again, she doesn't display this to everybody else, but she doesn't have to. She's already made some kind of energetic contact with somebody else out there. And it's like, oh, the vibes are there. We know that the vibes are there. And it's just really beautiful. It's really lovely to see that the vibes are there. Beautiful message, beautiful energy on this one, but only she knows what she's already seeing. And she's kind of like looking like this. That's why I feel like she's projecting something like her thoughts to somebody else. And trust me, they're picking up the message. I see passion and desire in her future is what it looks like because she's that high priestess. And last but not least, I have Witman Clan. Witman Clan, thank you so much for all your patience, sweetheart. 59, 53. Here we go. All right, Witman Clan. Oh, Lucia, you're not getting notifications. There's a whole bunch of problems lately. I'm so sorry about that. Anybody else who's not getting notifications, you might try unsubscribing and resubscribing. There's a whole bunch of stuff going on behind the scenes right now. That's just one more thing to add to the list of stuff I'm disappointed with. I'm so sorry, Lucia. I wish I could fix it on my end. I don't really know what's going on, to be completely honest with you. But thank you for letting me know, just because that does help me a little bit. This is the only video I put out on this channel, so you definitely should have gotten that notification. So it breaks my heart that you didn't, sweetheart. I'm so sorry, babe. All right, next up. So sorry, Witman Clan, to interrupt. We have a 5 of Wands. So let me grab you one more, sweetheart, just to say sorry for that interruption. Oops. Ooh, okay. Well, we have a 7 of Cups. Well, so we needed to go again because we also have a 9 of Swords and we have a King of Pentacles. Okay. Well, then maybe that interruption was part of the story. The 5 of Wands, which is somebody thinking and going round and round in their head. And then we continue on with somebody thinking, going round and round in their head. 7 of Cups. And it's like, it's daytime, it's nighttime. You know, I go to bed at night thinking about something, fall asleep. I wake up the next morning before dawn and I'm still stressing out over it. It feels like even if there's like a delay, our story picks up right where it is. And it's like, I'm trying to figure out what to do. We have somebody who I think knows that they have stressed out, possibly a divine feminine. And I don't really know why it's been such a conundrum on how to fix it, because he's coming to the conclusion, I need to be a King of Pentacles. Walk in with a solid offer, come in with something awesome, come forward and really give like that King of Pentacles energy. I don't know why it's been a struggle for this person to put their finger on like, oh, that's the thing that would help. That's the thing that would solve this. That's the thing that would maybe take away her stress, is if I behave in a more confident way, a more, stable, reassuring, and consistent way. But that's what it would require. But I feel like he's getting there. There are gaps of time in between him thinking about this and then realizing that's perhaps the best route to take. So yes, it could take some time for this all to work out, but we certainly see a potential for a resolution here. But it's uncomfortable before we get to the resolution. It is uncomfortable because we have those pauses, we have those delays, we have that confusion, we have the deep thought. And it's like, it kind of feels like a tempest in a teacup. Decisive action, reliable action would fix all of this pretty swiftly. The one thing I will say is if this character were to stay in, the land of confusion, then I don't see this feminine remaining in the land of confusion with them. It's like, well, I think this is the last night I'm going to shed a tear because I'm already at the 9 of Swords. What comes next is the 10 of Swords. I let it go and I move on and I'm hiring for, somebody I can rely on. So only King of Pentacles need apply. I could also read it that way, but the bottom line is we're ending with a great card. So yes, it's been kind of a mess. Yes, there have been, moments of like blocked energy, wondering, is somebody going to respond? Are they going to say something? Have they been just contemplating what to say? Am I going to hear from them pretty soon? Are they going to clear up the confusion? Or is this where I move on and thus clear up the confusion myself? Because we end on a King of Pentacles, let me put it this way. The thing that is going to be the most successful outcome is the thing that will occur. Whether it is him becoming that King of Pentacles or whether it is a new person coming in who is a King of Pentacles, I can't say. I can only say that the outcome is good, though this process has been bumpy. And again, with that funky delay in there, maybe that all makes sense. Maybe that's why it went that way. All right, you guys, I'm going to leave this one here. Thank you, everybody, so much for being here. As you guys know, we are doing this once a week. I'm going to try really hard to keep it to a half hour on each channel instead of an hour on each channel each week, just because that gets overwhelming. And I know that can, people get lost in, where things are too. So, but I will try very hard to do better next time. You guys, thank you, everyone. Really appreciate each and every one of you. All right, lots of love. Bye for now, you guys.